Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., eyes wide open? Your mind is racing with thoughts you can't seem to turn off. What if I told you that the secret to falling asleep in just 60 seconds, it is not a pill. It's not an expensive device. It's not even a complicated ritual, but something far simpler is already at your fingertips. This is precisely what happened to John Anderson. At 72, after a long and fulfilling career as an engineer in Ohio, John imagined retirement would finally bring him peace and rest. But instead, the nights became longer. The silence became louder. And sleep? It slowly slipped away. Every night was the same. He'd lay down at 10, close his eyes, and wait. But hours passed. Thoughts of bills, his grandkids, his health, and even regrets from years past played like an endless movie in his head. Even on nights when sleep did come, John woke up feeling drained, as if he hadn't slept at all. He tried everything: warm teas, meditation apps, even prescription pills. They worked for a while, but eventually the sleepless nights returned. Until one evening, through a simple online group for seniors, John stumbled upon a strange method. Tap 3 secret points before bed, and you'll fall asleep in under a minute. At first it sounded ridiculous, but desperate for rest, John decided to try. And what happened next changed everything. Tonight, I'll show you precisely what John discovered and how you can do it, too. Have you ever wished you could simply switch off your mind? Like pressing a pause button just long enough to let sleep gently take over? That's exactly where John's journey began. The very first spot he learned to tap was right between his eyebrows, what many call the third eye. For most of us, especially as we grow older, bedtime isn't always peaceful. It becomes a battlefield, not between sleep and wakefulness, but between our thoughts and our desire for rest. John used to describe it like this: I would close my eyes, but my mind refused to follow. The moment my head hit the pillow, it was as if every worry, every unfinished task, every health concern, all lined up waiting for their turn to speak. And John was not alone. As we age, our brains don't slow down at night as easily as they once did. The prefrontal cortex, that sophisticated part of our brain responsible for thinking, planning, and worrying, doesn't always recognize that it's bedtime. In younger years, the brain transitions more smoothly from alertness to rest. But after 60, something shifts. Hormones like melatonin drop. Anxiety about health, family, and even mortality becomes louder. Once agile and sharp, our minds now replay every fear and regret, often in the quiet of the night. It's not just frustrating, it's exhausting. And this is where the first tapping point works its magic. The spot is simple to find. Right between your eyebrows, just slightly above, about 1 inch or so up. This tiny area has nerve endings directly connecting to your central nervous system. This point holds remarkable significance in modern neuroscience and traditional Eastern medicine. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's known as the yin-tang point, often used for calming anxiety, relieving headaches, and promoting restful sleep. In modern terms, stimulating this spot sends signals to your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that controls rest, digestion, and recovery. When John first learned about this, he was skeptical. How could tapping my forehead do anything to help me sleep? He wondered. But here's what science now understands. Gentle tapping sends subtle vibrations through the skin and underlying nerves. These vibrations activate calming pathways in the brain. The parasympathetic nervous system responds by lowering heart rate, relaxing muscles, and slowing breathing. As serotonin levels rise, they become melatonin, the sleep hormone your body craves. In short, tapping signals your mind that it's safe to let go. John once compared it beautifully. It's like whispering to my own brain, saying, "You've done enough for today. It's okay to rest now." At first, John made some of the common mistakes many beginners fall into. Tapping too hard. He thought more pressure meant faster results, but vigorous tapping only triggered tension, not relaxation. Tapping too fast. In his frustration, he rushed through the routine. But rapid tapping overstimulates the nerves, keeping the mind alert. Not breathing properly. Shallow breathing reduced the technique's calming effect. Through trial and error, John learned that less is more. The tapping should feel gentle, like soft rain tapping on your skin, and pairing it with deep, intentional breathing made all the difference. Here's precisely how John does it, and how you can too. 1. Get comfortable. Sit on your bed with your back supported or lie flat. Let your shoulders drop naturally. 2. Find the spot. Use your dominant hand. Lightly place your index or middle finger just above the space between your eyebrows, about an inch higher. 3. Begin tapping gently. The pressure should feel calming, not forceful. Imagine you're trying to feel a tiny vibration beneath your skin. 4. Establish a slow rhythm. Aim for 1 tap per second. Think of the slow, steady beat of a calm heartbeat. 5. Breathe deeply. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this breathing cycle as you continue tapping for 30 to 60 seconds. The first time John did it correctly, something surprising happened. By the 20th tap, he felt his eyelids growing heavy. His chest loosened, and his thoughts faded into the background for the first time in months. It was as if my worries were slowly stepping away, one by one, he recalled. Within a week of practicing this routine nightly, John began falling asleep faster. Within a month, he was sleeping through the night. Not every night was perfect, but even on restless evenings, this simple practice helped him find calm. And eventually, sleep. But the forehead was only the beginning. John soon discovered that 2 more spots, just inches away, held even greater power to quiet his restless nights. And one of them may surprise you. Let's move to the second secret spot. The temple reset. Just a few inches to the side, 2 small areas that hold far more tension than most of us realize. And when gently tapped, they can unlock the calm your body has been begging for. John called it the quieting of the storm inside my head. For years, John thought his constant headaches, pressure around his forehead, and heavy eyes were just part of aging. Some mornings I'd wake up feeling like I hadn't slept at all, he told me. Not because I didn't get enough hours, but because my head always felt so full. That fullness, that dull ache, it's a sensation many seniors silently endure. We often blame it on poor sleep or simply growing older. However, few realize that much of this discomfort originates in the temples, a gateway to the nervous system. The temples aren't just soft spots on the side of your head. They are a critical hub of nerves, vessels, and circulation, almost like a traffic intersection for your brain's well-being. Most notably, the trigeminal nerve, one of the largest nerves in your face, runs through this area. This nerve plays a significant role in controlling your facial, head, and jaw sensations. When you're tense, anxious, or stressed, the muscles and nerves around your temples tighten. Blood vessels may constrict, reducing circulation. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. Tension, headaches, poor sleep, more tension. John had unknowingly lived inside this loop for years. The mistake most people make. Many seniors try to relieve this discomfort by rubbing their temples aggressively, often pressing too hard in frustration. John admitted, "I used to press my temples with my palms, trying to push the pain away. But the harder I pressed, the worse it got." The secret isn't pressure, it's rhythm. Gentle, consistent rhythm. That's where the tapping comes in. How tapping resets the temple circuit. When done correctly, temple tapping sends a calming signal through the trigeminal nerve, easing muscular tension and promoting blood flow. This soothes the dull ache and helps the brain transition from alertness to rest. You can think of it as resetting a computer running too many programs all day. The tapping helps release built-up muscular tension, encourage smooth blood circulation to the brain, calm overstimulated nerve pathways that often prevent restful sleep. And perhaps most importantly, it quiets the mind's mental chatter. The first time John tried tapping his temples, he followed the instructions carefully. He is sitting upright with his back supported, using both his middle fingers, one on each temple, tapping lightly, almost like the soft beat of a distant drum. At first, he didn't feel much, but after about 20 seconds, something shifted. "I felt this warm wave gently move across my forehead," John recalled. "My eyes relaxed. The tight band I always felt across my head loosened." By the time he reached 40 seconds, his breathing naturally slowed, and sleep came easily when he laid down that night, for the first time in weeks. Let's walk through the exact steps John used and that you can too. 1. Settle into a comfortable position. Sit or recline where your body feels fully supported. 2. Place your fingers. Use your middle or index fingers. Gently rest them on each temple, right at the soft spot between your eye and ear. 3. Begin tapping softly. Keep your rhythm steady, 1 light tap per second. The tapping should feel soothing, never jarring. 4. Pair it with breathing. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat for the duration of the tapping. 5. Duration. Continue for 30 to 40 seconds or up to 1 minute if it feels good. Modern research increasingly supports the power of gentle facial stimulation in regulating sleep-related hormones. For example, a small study published in the Journal of Integrative Medicine found that acupressure and rhythmic facial tapping helped reduce insomnia in seniors within just a few weeks. By engaging the trigeminal nerve and parasympathetic system simultaneously, the tapping essentially signals the body, "You are safe. You can let go." What John discovered over the next month surprised even him. His morning headaches became less frequent. That heavy pressure he'd carried around his forehead, it faded. "It's like I was finally clearing the clouds that had settled in my head for years," he said with a smile. Over time, this temple tapping routine became one of his favorite parts of the evening. It wasn't just about falling asleep anymore. It was about honoring his body's need to unwind, with patience and care. But even with his forehead and temples relaxed, John still struggled some nights. There was one more spot where most of us carried tension without realizing, right where the neck meets the base of the skull. That final spot? It holds the key to releasing years, sometimes decades, of built-up stress. Let's explore the neck release point. We carry more weight on our shoulders than we often realize. Not just physical weight, but also decades of worries, responsibilities, and unspoken stress. And for many seniors, that weight settles quietly, right at the base of the neck. This third spot became John's secret weapon. He called it the gatekeeper between my restless mind and true sleep. For years, John felt an invisible tightness in his neck and shoulders. He thought it was simply stiffness from aging, or the consequence of years spent leaning over his drafting table as an engineer. Every morning, I'd wake up with my neck stiff, my shoulders aching, and my head feeling heavy, he shared. But he didn't realize, and what many seniors don't, that tension in the neck doesn't stay in the neck. It can ripple throughout the nervous system, alerting the body even when the mind begs for rest. Why this area matters so much. The area at the base of the skull where your neck meets your head is a critical junction point. It houses the suboccipital muscles are tiny muscles responsible for balance and head positioning. The cervical spine, where nerves controlling breathing, heart rate, and muscle tone pass through. Major blood vessels, like the vertebral arteries, deliver blood and oxygen directly to the brain. When these muscles remain tight, whether from stress, poor posture, or age-related stiffness, they create a domino effect: restricted blood flow, overstimulation of nearby nerves, heightened sympathetic activity, the fight-or-flight system, difficulty transitioning into deep restorative sleep. John's body was always on high alert, even in bed. The mistake most people make. Like many, John initially tried to stretch it out, forcing neck stretches or rolling his head aggressively before bed. "Sometimes I made it worse," he admitted. "I didn't realize I was telling my muscles to brace instead of relax." The solution wasn't force, it was rhythm. Gentle, consistent, forgiving rhythm. That's where the third tapping point comes in. How neck tapping creates release. Unlike the forehead and temples, this tapping simultaneously activates muscles and nerves. When you tap gently across the base of the skull, you stimulate the vagus nerve, key to lowering heart rate and calming the nervous system. The suboccipital muscles release tightness and improve head circulation. The cervical nerves ease neck stiffness, contributing to tension, headaches, and sleep disturbance. In simple terms, you're helping the body recognize that it no longer needs to stay guarded. The gate to rest can finally open. The first time John tried the neck release point, he was skeptical. The area was so tight that even light tapping felt unusual. But he followed the method carefully. He is sitting upright, allowing his shoulders to drop naturally. Use 3 fingers, middle, ring, and pinky, to ensure a wide, gentle surface. Moving slowly in an arc from one side of the neck to the other, right along the hairline beneath his skull. After about 30 seconds, I could feel the tension draining from my neck, like warm water flowing downward, John described. As he continued, his breathing deepened naturally. His eyes became heavier, and when he finally lay down that night, sleep arrived quietly, without struggle. Here's precisely how you can do it, just like John. 1. Find a comfortable position. Sit or recline with full back and head support. Allow your shoulders to fall naturally. 2. Position your fingers. Use your middle ring and pinky fingers together on each hand. 3. Begin gentle tapping. Start behind your left ear, just below the skull. Tap lightly as you move your fingers in a smooth arc toward the right ear, following the hairline. Complete the arc, then return to the left and repeat. 4. Maintain steady rhythm. 1 light tap per second, like a calm heartbeat. 5. Coordinate with breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose for 5 seconds. Pause for 2 seconds. Exhale entirely through your mouth for 7 seconds. 6. Duration. Continue for 1 minute or longer, if comfortable. Modern sleep researchers are increasingly considering the neck's role in sleep regulation. A study published by the Journal of Sleep Medicine and Disorders found that targeted neck stimulation may help regulate blood pressure and heart rate variability, and even reduce insomnia symptoms in older adults. Because the vagus nerve passes near this region, light tapping may help signal the body's rest and digest mode, calming both mind and body. Over weeks of practicing all 3 tapping points, John experienced profound changes. His morning stiffness faded. His neck felt looser, even during the day. His sleep became deeper, uninterrupted, and more refreshing than in years. I never realized how much stress I had carried, for decades, until I finally let it go, John said softly. For him, the neck release point wasn't just a sleep tool, it became a nightly ritual of forgiveness, releasing the burdens of a lifetime, one gentle tap at a time. Now you've seen all 3 tapping points that transformed John's nights and his life. But there's one more thing we need to talk about. These simple habits and a few tiny evening changes can supercharge your sleep. Starting tonight, let's explore those next. Imagine what your nights could feel like if your mind no longer raced, if your body no longer carried decades of tension, and if sleep, deep, peaceful, natural sleep, came to you effortlessly. That's what John discovered, and that's what's waiting for you too. Over just a few weeks, these 3 simple tapping points, the forehead pause button, the temple reset, and the neck release point, helped John reclaim something he thought he had lost forever: restful, healing sleep. No expensive devices, no harsh medications, just his fingertips, and a few mindful minutes each night. And here's the beautiful truth. Your body already knows how to rest. Sometimes it just needs a little gentle reminder. These small movements aren't just about sleep. They're about permitting yourself to let go, to release the weight you've carried and allow yourself to heal. If this video helped you or you're ready to try it, I would love to hear your story. Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your story might help someone else tonight. And if you'd like more gentle, science-backed ways to stay healthy and vibrant after 60, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's so much more I want to share with you, and you deserve every peaceful night ahead.